Welcome back. Hope you guys are doing good wherever it is that you may be tuning in from. Appreciate you guys as always. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Black Expat Life Abroad. What we do here is do our best to try and give you the real life and understanding of what happens in the abroad process, both what you need to do to go about leaving, why you might actually be looking to leave, helping you once you actually go about putting all your things in a bag and positioning yourself to really start looking at the steps that you need. But also creating community for people that are looking to move abroad so that when they go do all the research, when they go take a look at all of the things that not only we have put together, but the internet, and they land in somewhere, they've got some people that, they can connect with. I think that is important to consider when moving abroad, how big community is going to be. I saw something the other day that said, everybody in America is very hyper individualized, and I get it. Um, Things are definitely put into a different position in living in America versus what you consider and seeing when you move abroad. Hyper individualism starts even at as young as 18. What I saw earlier was that the thought process that Americans, once they become 18, they need to leave the house, whereas so many other communities abroad are actually in a position where that 18 barrier doesn't mean leaving. And what that allows for people to do is build together both with their current environment as far as their family, what happens as far as other people becoming a part of the family. And we seem to miss that a lot in the United States. So the reason why I think a lot of people are moving abroad is because inherently, as humans, many of us are looking for that feeling. You might not have been able to write it down or pinpoint it until just now, but realistically, the thought process to be such a hyper individualistic society is not how we were designed as humans. So many of you guys are starting to now look at what life abroad gives you. You're even looking to go abroad, maybe even by yourself, and considering I'll meet the community that I'm hearing about, that I'm seeing on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, whatever it is that you consume your media or your research from. But you guys are really considering that, and I'm realizing that so many of you are one, not even certain of where to look. Uh, Two, why would you look there? These things are really important to help you narrow down what it is that you are looking for and what it is that you are going to receive once you actually land. What I tell so many people when looking to move abroad is not to be sold by someone else's story. So many of you guys are hearing $300 villas, and I lived my best life by moving abroad. And that may be true for said person that communicated that to you. But do remember that this is your journey. Your journey is the one that is going to end up mattering, not what you saw on the internet, what you expected, but more so what actually happened. So when looking into the different places that people are looking to move abroad, you've got to ask yourself some tough questions depending on what things you're followed and paying attention to that we put out. One of the videos we put out for our Roots and Ross podcast today was about not being introverted. Yes, you may be an introvert in the United States, and considering a hyper individualized society, that may work for you. However, so many people, once moving abroad, realize that introverted lifestyle that may have been your protecting or cushion that you helped get you through with the United States, that doesn't work abroad. You can't be this closed off person in a position where one, you don't know anything that's going on. Two, you don't know maybe the language, the culture, how people move on a Monday to Friday. What these things look like get nuanced down to where you go. But being introverted completely closes you off to what it is that you're saying is a new experience that you want. You guys are looking to move abroad and saying, oh, this is just another move. So I'm just moving and I'm just taking what it is that I have and who I am, and I'm just taking that with me. Not realizing that you have to become a part of a community to actually thrive when moving abroad. So, when looking at your destination and trying to figure out where is it do I go, you have to ask yourself, well, who is it and what is there once I get there? A lot of people I tell when they're looking to move abroad and quote unquote do their research, what I tell them is Facebook is actually one of your best friends. And I tell you, I don't get endorsed to send you to Facebook. Yes, we have groups, but you can guys can go check out any groups. But what I tell you is Facebook gives you an understanding of what the community is like without you being in it. That is really important because at the end of the day, you may be the party starter in your friend group. However, the party shouldn't have to be started, whether it's a party that you're looking for, whether it's community within going out, eating, finding out what things are and where they are. These things are really important. And putting your eyeball on Facebook and jumping into these groups, I talk to my people. So, if you're interested in a particular country, there's always the Black Expats in route. You can go Black Expats in this and Black Expats in this, or just type in Black Expats and see what groups come up. These will vary about who has actually put in the work, but many of these places that are on your radar are already set up. But you have to realize that just because they're set up doesn't mean that the community actually operates the exact same way. Some places are actually more convenient for families. Some places are more inclined to the single and social life. Some are places where it's a beach town, but it's not a party vibe. It's extremely laid back. Some of those are in the middle. Some of the other ones are extremely far, and the entire way of life is completely different because you're talking about Western versus Eastern society and what things are positioned there. Never mind that some of you guys even have the Middle East in Africa, and there are different things that go on both within communities versus both also what it is that you're allowed to do when you get there. So these nuanced things down to one, where's everybody going? Well, let's just get to you before we figure out what everybody's doing because you've got to ask yourself, do I want to be a part of a laid back community? Do I want to be a place where I can go out on a Tuesday or I can stay in the house? Or there's a lot of people there that are retired and I'm a retired person's age. Or in this particular environment, there's a lot of people that aren't retired and there are digital nomads and expats and people in the 30 to 45 range. These things are really important because you guys are looking to go sell all your stuff and move to Bali and move to Thailand because y'all heard that the black and so exist. And what research have you done to look into that community and actually see, well, how do they operate? What goes on a normal basis? So before you start looking at what somebody else has deemed the best expat destination for you should start asking yourself, what kind of destination do you want to get into? That is the first thing. And so many of you guys, we black folks, so we already know the thought process of who are going to be over there. Y'all ask that all the time. You can throw a thing down the street from your house. Somebody gonna say, "Who are going to be over there? When I get there, who's going to be there?" And y'all don't realize that we love to be around each other. Now you have some places that are destinations that are in the top places that expats are going, Black Americans, but you have to realize, is there a native population of African diasporan people there? I think that is important because a lot of you, when moving abroad and looking to move abroad, one of the first things you guys ask is, where's the racism at? What's that look like? Thinking that racism is just isolated to the United States and not realizing that not only is the American racism, it's very specific, but the other racism that's abroad has got its own specificities too. And you have to be able to navigate as well as see. If you're not new here, you might have heard me talking about the first time you may be treated as an American. That often is abroad. It's not often afforded to people that have never left the United States to be put in a position where they're treated as an American first. Usually you're an Asian, a black person, a this, a that. Never, nobody's like going out of their way to say, well, hold on, man, you're an American. Like, you should know this, or you have this because you are an American. It's on the other side of the TSA that we are now realizing that we are American, which wasn't a privilege that we were afforded. So when you think about moving to somewhere, who all over there is a pretty damn good question. Because you guys are worried about what racism looks like and not realizing that you've got racism abroad, you've got colorism abroad, you've got classism abroad, you have sexism abroad. It's a lot of isms. The world is full of them. Which one, I wouldn't say are you comfortable with, but do you know where you're going? Do you know that the clothes that you wear with freedom and liberty in the United States may not be able to be done where you are based off of how that operation works without you being in there? These things are really important. I know we do want to know who's all over there, but these things are nuanced and so multi-layered to where it's an individual question about what you're looking for. It's also about what is available to you when you get there. Doesn't mean that you can't be a part of building. Miss Chalet and I were on the other day and we were talking about that. How when I first got to Medellin, it was a different kind of community. The community that was being built at the time was really heavy on parties. Like once a week at least, maybe even two, three times a week, it was like, let's go to this party. And if you know, if you're not a part of the party life, then you know you're not supporting. And it's like, I, I didn't. I tell people to caution themselves from taking the party life that they're used to, living in Atlanta, Miami, New York, big cities, and expecting to do those same things abroad. At this point, you should want more for your life. So coming to Medellin and being able to party on a weekly basis, it was there. I went maybe once a month, but it wasn't something that was on my hat. Whereas myself and a number of other people, considering, you know, we all need our safe spaces for us to be able to communicate, to be able to congregate, to share fellowship, resources, these things, we created a community that we wanted to see. It took a number of us to do so. It wasn't just me or one other person. It was, I think it was a group of four of us. But we actually said, okay, let's put this together. So the people that are landing here, they have a safe space to land where it's not like, let's just get turned up. Like, do you guys want to go get something to eat? Or do you have a question about living here? Or do you need a realtor? Like, these things were important. And I tell you guys that just because a WhatsApp community exists, they might have a Facebook community as well, doesn't mean that the community is open. I've been living broad enough to see different communities, poke my head in, see how they operate. And I will tell you that not every community is going to give you information, resources. One, have it organized. Two, even have somebody that's willing to take their time, whether it's to share a vetted resource, whether it's to curate a party, whether it's a, I think things don't have to be like party, like let's go to a club. I think we did a party bus, which is a Colombian Shiva, which is a party bus. That was like a city tour. It was so much fun. They've done spades tournaments there. They had an election night party, watch party. Like these things are nuanced down to my experience and what I dealt with in Medellin. But I tell you that these things you may really want to have on your radar. I don't know what it is that you consume from an internet perspective, but a lot of the viral content that I'm seeing isn't real life. They're telling you, I went to this club and I spent $30 and I got a bottle and a whole section, and it was a whole bottle. And I mean, that's cool, but that is what attracts Americans. The people that are looking to move abroad that are Americans aren't looking to go party in another country as an escape from what America has given them as reality. They're looking for more substance. They're looking for what that calling is that they really can't put their finger on. But I kind of addressed it a little bit earlier. Is that look that longing for a community. You want to actually not just spend all your time working and buying, getting things. You want to actually be able to spend time with friends and family and build something that's actually worth it. So I challenge whoever is watching this to actually put that positioning into their head and say, what do I want from the community? And also, what can I do? Now, you guys may be looking at what can I do as some sort of money thing, or you might have a skew. What I'm saying is, everybody has skills. Yes, you might work at and have a job, and your title is this to you, but that's not who you are. When we talk about community, we talk about skills and the skills that people have. Some people are good orators. Some people have ability to communicate via mass communication, so writing, these kind of things. Some people are community builders, where they could take a group of people and get them interested into an idea and help them. Sounds like a church, but seriously, so many people have different skills. And cooking, some people's cooking skills. I know Miss Chalet, she offers her skills from being a loctician to being she makes body butters. I got a couple hats from her. She makes a bunch of her own clothes. Like, you can go get a custom outfit abroad from somebody that has brought their crafting skill. These things are important when you talk about what the community has to offer to you. And I know you guys might have came here to find out, well, what community should I go to? Well, first of all, you can go Google that. I'll give you them, but you can go Google that. It's more so, never mind what Google or AI says are the top 5 or top 10 communities for Black expats to go to. I spin it back around and put it back on you and say, what do you need? What are you looking for? These things are important. What are you willing to bring? Is your drawbridge low enough to be a part of a community of people that you don't know yet? These are only internal questions. These aren't any questions that anybody at TikTok can give you. There's nothing on YouTube that is going to challenge you to do something about what your situation is and actually make you look back at yourself and say, is this something I'm ready to sign up for? So many people with challenged with these questions aren't ready and faced with the ability to actually take them on. They just thought it was people me putting my stuff in my bag. Oh, I got to go be a part of a community. I may need to learn a new language. I may need to help others navigate what it is that I didn't have the ability to easily navigate. Now, I'm doing my best to make sure that none of you guys have to go through what it is that me or any of my friends dealt with in moving abroad. Some of the challenges, some of the pitfalls, some of the scams that some people run into. I got y'all on there. But the ultimate move and test of whether or not you're ready for the move is the things that you are willing to ask yourself, and the truth that you are willing to give yourself in a position where, yes, you can change your life, but you won't change your life if I come over here and I'm an introvert, so I don't talk to anybody. I don't ask anything in the group. I don't go outside and meet the community of people that already lived here before I did, and I mean the locals. I don't know how to ask for the bathroom. I don't know how to ask for water. I don't know on Sundays that every road in Medellin, in the city, is going to be, most of them are going to be shut down because people are walking with their families, biking, running, rollerblading, skateboarding, whatever it is, got wheels or hooves, they're going to be on it and hanging out with their family. But you didn't know that because you just were in the house all day and said, yeah, everybody, I live in Colombia. I live here. Look at this view. And nobody knows that you just been in your house all day. Never mind what anybody is thinking. What about you? You left everything you know, and you didn't give yourself an opportunity to lower your drawbridge enough, learn a little bit about where you're going, both before, during as you're there, continuously being that sponge. So you guys have to realize that where are the top expat destinations? This is really not that's a question for Google. What you have to do is, what is going to be the top expat destination for you based off of what you need? That question and that answer, excuse me, is not on Google. Google doesn't have a profile of you. It doesn't understand what you don't tell anybody. It may only, AI is only going to give you what you already given it about yourself. But these questions and these things are the things that will probably wake you up in the middle of the night, having you sweating, thinking, can I actually move abroad? Is this reality? Can you? Is it? Is it something that you can do? That is the real question. Now let's get into it, because I know a lot of people will be upset, like, "Oh, you didn't tell us the top places." All right, top places. I'll be honest with you. Some of these top places, I would say, I should say that they should say the top places are the places where not only did the people go, but the people stay and come back. That should be the test, not the first place that everybody goes and then they end up having a bad time or end up moving back home or end up realizing that the time zone difference was going to be too much. So they ended up saying, "Ooh, I need to come back to somewhere a little bit closer." because that is what comes out when you go into and when you go into putting in Google and saying, what are the top expat destinations? They won't only give you the numbers. They don't give you anything. You guys are looking in places where you don't know where you're going until you get there and you realize, hey, I called my mom and she said it's 2 a.m. in the morning there. It's 2 p.m. out here. Why did you call me? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize the time zone. Oh, and it's Thursday. I'm on Friday at 2 p.m. You're telling me it's Thursday? It's a whole nother time. These things are realistic. So people are looking at Thailand. People are looking at Indonesia. These are some of the places that are in the Far East. I'm starting to see other people looking in South Korea, as well as different places in Japan. I will tell you, for all these people that ask me about the work scenario, places like Korea, Japan, China, they may have more jobs that you could get there. I'm not an expert in those places, don't know. I'm just telling you, they may have more jobs. So a lot of you people are asking me, what jobs do I get? And I'm like, most of these places, you better bring your own job or your own pension, whatever that case is. But a lot of the places are Thailand. I know there's a big Black in Thailand community out there. I'd be interested to get one of those folks on just because I want to know the real deal. Like I said, I know they probably see a lot of people and they get sold on the Thailand being a $400 a month villa and the food being really cheap. But I've talked to some people that went to go move to Thailand and they did tell me some great things, and then they told me some things that don't get advertised on the internet. One thing that you have to consider when moving to big cities, and you run into this in Mexico City or Medellin, as well, is you big cities are really densely populated. So if you go to a city like Bangkok, traffic is going to be a thing. But with a lot of traffic, because there's a lot of cars, you have a lot of emissions. So smog is going to be something that may be higher than the United States. It might have all of those stuff that they told you about, but they didn't tell you that the smog is really bad and the air quality is tough. I saw a girl, she was saying that some of the reasons she wouldn't moved back to I think it was Mexico City, and she was also talking about water. Depending on where you go, where you're actually looking for, especially these beach places, water is not the same thing. Everybody's from America probably watching this, right? What if somebody told you that you can't flush toilet paper? You're like, what are you talking about? What am I supposed to do with my toilet paper? Oh, you're supposed to like use it, ball it up, and then put it into a trash can. And y'all probably just looked at me and your whole face is dropping. You're like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, oh, so everywhere in the world doesn't have the same plumbing that America has. Did you guys know that? So these top expat destinations, just because Google said this is the number one, do you know the plumbing situation there? That is a reality because not everywhere it is advised to flush toilet paper. If that is a complete hard pass for you, you can go ahead and take a number of these places off your list right now. Go ahead. Seriously. Straws, these kind of things like plastic. So you're in the beach environment, these things are important. Blackouts. You guys may be working remotely. You move into a place that has rolling blackouts once to three times a day. How do you get your work done? Do you have a backup? Did they tell you that on TikTok? No, they didn't. I know they didn't. But it's at the top expat destination, not considering sewage. I was talking to my buddy Jason, one of my Morehouse bros, and what he told me was he was looking in Santa Marta, and I had to ask Tisha about this, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm not gonna move to Santa Marta because sewage is bad where I was looking at living. So the rain comes." Did they tell y'all about that in some of the top expat destinations, or they don't? Do you see how why they may be at the top, but you might not be ready to flush your toilet paper? I mean, put your toilet paper in the trash or deal with sewage. Even Cartagena, depending on what time of the year you go in Cartagena. Cartagena is extremely low lying, and it's a very old city. So, and when the rain comes in extremely fast. And if you're from South Florida or know about being in South Florida, the rain can come in, and because it doesn't have anywhere to go, the water, it just rises. So you could be in 3, 4 feet of water in Cartagena in quick time. I've seen it with my own two eyes to where you can't even get out they just won't go down the street. They will just drop you off 5 blocks from wherever you are and say, amigo, I'm not going. I'm just not. This is reality. Never mind when you go on the other side of the world, you got other things you need to worry about. Maybe you're from Cali, it's dealing with an earthquake. Maybe you're from Florida, it's dealing with a hurricane. I don't know why, but a typhoon sounds way worse than a hurricane. It just sounds like something just blew your whole house down. Like, but typhoons happen over there. We got earthquakes also. They have random stuff that goes on. Like in the Middle East, you can go with it was raining for like a week, a bunch of rain, and they just couldn't stop it because they done messed around with the weather so much up there. But everybody's got these Middle Eastern places, Dubai and Qatar and all of these other places. Let's talk about that because I saw something today about Dubai. A young lady was talking about people moving out to Dubai, getting jobs for companies that work out there, and it it was not something that was completely lost on me because I already knew it, but to see it in a public forum and discussed, and other people were aware of it, I just didn't. I'm glad that more people were aware of it than originally what I thought. But she was talking about the opportunities for people to come move to Dubai and work jobs, and what she was saying was, and a lot of people don't know this about Dubai. Well, everybody knows Dubai is in the desert, and the reason why I went from a desert to what it is now is because of a lot of workers. However, a lot of these workers are in scenarios where we would be considering them modern day slaves. Some people were even promised jobs. Large number of people promised jobs only to have their passports taken. And that was some of the feedback that somebody was giving. Why would anybody want to go work in Dubai? It seems very hyper individualistic to say, I care about me making money and the opulence and luxury of what it is that I have to be able to afford, yet don't care about how any of this got built off of somebody's back. We can't turn our nose on the things that our ancestors went through, yet go and patronize and position another country that we know is doing certain things and being like, ah, yes, this is where I'm going to see my best life. Now, I understand that no matter what country you go to, there's going to be atrocities and different things of that nature. But some things, it's like, I wouldn't if I knew somebody that built this specifically was actively like taken advantage of, and it was the whole city. That just seems like a city that would be off my radar. However, so many people have it on their radar, so I had to mention it because this is one of the top places that are expat destinations. Dubai is one of these top places. It's so safe, and yeah, it is safe, and it is crime free and these things, but crime free depends on what you consider a crime. So like this ain't getting bashed into one particular country or the other. I just want us, because y'all asked me and I talked to y'all, to understand where it is that these places, when you go to put in top expat destinations, what they really go through and what they really don't show you on these places. So talked about Thailand, talked about Bali and Indonesia. I mentioned the with Dubai scenario, knowing where it is that you are, how things got to be. Maybe you can turn off your blinders or sensors to that, but a lot of people, when finding it out, have a little pause for call and say, "All right, I didn't really understand that, but now that makes so much sense. How it was randomly just built up so quickly." Well, you force some people to do something, things get done a little bit faster than the average pair. Some of the places that I will talk about that are also on the radars is Africa. I had my college roommate reach out to me at a time that I was just getting connected to a bro, Maurice, and he was talking, hey, I'm looking to probably move abroad and looking at Cape Town. I said, man, Cape Town, that's unique. So I started talking to my boy Maurice, and he's like, yeah, man, I've got a lot of people that are looking to move to Cape Town. The It is definitely still on the further side, not as far as going all the way to Africa. It's got its own challenges like any other country. You obviously know apartheid scenarios. You see what has been going on between locals, as from excuse me, locals as well as the settler people, whatever you would like to name them. You know, they own all the land, yet black people are like 90% of the population, yet 10% of the population owns like 85% of the land. So that is something that, like I said, we're not going to talk about any place tonight that is a country that you is on the expat destination list that does not have its problems. They all have their problems. It's just you have to figure out that, realize one, there's a country and this may not be dealing with this particularly everywhere. But I have always tell people, when looking to move abroad, you're never going to find the perfect destination. That's why the intentful questions that you ask yourself are highly important to helping you narrow down your whys and your what I'm looking for is are also important to have visualized and written down, because you have to realize that these places are just never going to be perfect. What are you willing to deal with? Some things in America, it just doesn't happen on like the normalized basis as it does in other places. Oh, well, you might not be able to wear a Louis Vuitton bag here because that might attract attention, but you're also not going to get pew pew at the bowling alley just because somebody was upset. Louis Vuitton bag, 300 in bowling. Which one do you want? It just depends. Um, so South Africa is definitely on the list. What we've done over the last couple of months is put together some resources to cover the last couple of destinations that we'll cover, and South Africa being one of them. Some of these other top places I am seeing before we get too far out of that hemisphere, Portugal being one of these places. Lisbon is a place that people are starting to look at, and Lisbon's all got its own. Why would you go to Lisbon? It's built its history off of racism and colonization. It colonized the biggest landmass in all of South America, which is Brazil. These things, once again, you can't go anywhere where the stuff doesn't happen. It just comes down to the community that's there waiting for you, the experience that you can have, which is why I tell people to go check these places out. Don't go get a visa if you don't need it before you go and put all the paperwork together, because yes, I might have brought up some good items tonight that they weren't on your radar. I said I might need to go look at that. Make sure I go flush the toilet paper when I get there. Wait, a typhoon? So what's the difference between a hurricane and a typhoon? About $60,000? Nope, not doing it. I'm nervous about that. These things may have caused you to look at another location differently than what it is. Portugal. Some people have seen on the black travel groups that said that this place is kind of racist. America's kind of racist too. I don't know what Portuguese racism looks like. I haven't experienced it yet. You'd have to ask somebody that lives out there and has lived out there what they look like. And don't take one nuanced experience, because if you hear from somebody and they say, well, I've never experienced any racism out there, okay, that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. You just might not have ran into it. That's why I always tell you, don't ever take just one person's blatant experience. That's why most of the things I give you my experience, but most of what we do is give you the tools that you need to ask yourself the questions that nobody else is challenging you with. Because I can't give you my experience and say this is going to work for you. I can only share my experience and say this is what I would have asked myself, or at least challenged myself with thinking about before I had the opportunity to live through it. So Lisbon may be on your radar. Definitely get tapped in there. I know they got a bunch of communities out there that you can kind of pick your head in and put on your radar as well. Um, One of the top ones that is on this side of the world. So for all my folks that are looking to stay on this side of the world, I tell people, if you are a first time mover abroad, my best recommendation, best, is to start on this side of the world. There are so many different places you can start on this side of the world that at least keeps you in a comfortable time zone. Never mind you, but even if you're retired, you just want to like ease into it. Even culture over here is not the Far East. These things are different. So I tell most of the people that are looking to move abroad, and the first ones, most of you guys are coming to me for Colombia anyway. But try to stay on this side of the world, at least on your first way out. That way you can understand what feeling like talking in another language or being in another culture will feel like before you go like super duper far off. It could be really important to your success of leaving abroad, living abroad. Excuse me. Panama is definitely one of the top places. We have recently brought on both South Africa as well as Panama to our relocation offerings for you guys. So, just so you know, I am not the Panama or the South Africa person. I work with a whole team of experts, and I've compiled this team of experts to say, hey, if I'm looking to go to Colombia, that's me. If you're looking to go to Mexico, Panama, South Africa, we have an entire team of experts that are even nuanced down to localized healthcare, tourism opportunities. We also have immigration lawyers all on ground, realtors that are all within these particular locations. So that if you are looking to move abroad, there's only one place that you have to go. We've done all the work so that we bring on all the other voices. So that way you're connected in a way where you know how this community operates. You know that if you come through us with into Colombia, that you can easily get to Mexico and be connected to a community, and then jump to Panama and be connected there, and then we jump to South Africa and be connected there. So that is what we have done for the viewership. That way, you guys don't have to spend all your time trying to figure out how to get into these communities and how to get these resources. But Panama is definitely one of the top places. I'll tell you the unique things about Panama. It's good because time zone. I think you're on Central Time half of the year, and you are on Eastern Time the remaining of the year. So that is pretty good. And I just got to check on that because I know Colombia is that. Panama is good because you're probably like an hour or so off of your time zone if you're on Eastern Time. If you're on Western Time, you can obviously do the math, but it's not a bad time zone scenario. There are a lot of straight flights from the United States to Panama. I'm getting a little ahead of myself telling y'all some things I'll talk to you about a little bit later this week. But one of the cool things about Panama is the airline that is Panamanian is Copa Airlines. It is headquartered out of there. The reason I bring that up is because Panama is a place that is a international hub for planes coming from everywhere and going everywhere. So living in Panama could be advantageous to somebody because not only can they get a direct flight from the United States, but they can also easily get to multiple other destinations around the world. What also makes Panama unique in Copa Airlines is their stopover program. So even if you're visiting Panama, I believe I'm gonna say four, it might be seven, but you can select when going and purchasing on their airline on the way there or on the way back, your round trip ticket, you can get 4 days, no additional cost in Panama. And when you're booked through their website, you get discounts on excursions and hotels for being a utilizing their stopover program, but it's utilized to boost tourism in Panama, giving people the opportunity to come visit Panama, see how it operates, see some of these beautiful things. I will tell you that Panama has a Panama City. I believe there's a beach side as well. These things offer two different lifestyles. Depending on what kind of lifestyle you want, you might look at Panama and not remember that it's an entire country. So, depending on what lifestyle you want, you may run into, well, I actually need to be here in Panama to have this lifestyle. What I have seen and just talking to some of my people that have been going on border runs to, renew their, get a new passport stamp for Colombia, what they do is, what they've told me is, it's a little bit different than Medellin. The people that are out there, a large amount of them are already retired or going towards retirement age. So that may mean 55 to 65. And I say that's important is because depending on who you are and where you are, you might say, that's exactly where I need to be. The 55 and older crew, where they at? And then I say that's perfect. But if you are somebody that's my age, I just turned 38, somebody that's younger than me, you might be 25, 30, 35, and saying, well, I don't know if I'm going to hang out with my parents. And if that is generating of the community, and that's not just saying in Panama, just in general, if that is where the community tends to lean, could that be the community for you? If the young people haven't guiding it together, and they're all spread out. So anytime somebody goes to Panama, it's like, well, I can't find any young people that are here or people that are wanting to go out and do things, eat, go for an excursion, whatever the case is. Um, that could be really important. There's pockets, but some things are more pronounced in other communities and other countries as far as the community, WhatsApp, Facebook, the people that are getting together, and some aren't. That's why it's so important to just not put in, well, I've got these on my list because Google said these are the top expat destinations. Are there black people there? Are there black Americans there? Are there black people there, indigenous people? Are there? Like, because a lot of y'all want to have those experiences and then will go somewhere that does not have that. I had a guy that reached out to me. He was on one of these and he actually said he was living in, I think it was Korea or it was an Asian place for sure. And he said that over there, he, as an African American, wasn't treated by other black people from other places positively. So he was like black Canadians, Africans from, Africa, black European people. They were like, we don't really want to deal with you. You're an American. And I was telling him, I was like, that's unique. I didn't really have that vibe when I was in Colombia, with anybody, white, black, of any place. I didn't see that. But that's why I tell you guys to do the type of research you need to do is real deep as far as the research, because that can impact you. You've sold all your stuff. You've taken a job in another place and you don't even feel comfortable. You feel like even other people that are skin colored treat you differently because, and at the same time, that you may be realizing that they treating you like an American and it's the first time. So you don't like me because I'm an American, because they don't like me because I'm in America when I'm there. So how am I being treated as an American as if this is a negative face? Yet back at home, I may not feel what I should feel as a citizen of the country. Are you guys ready to prepare for that? Are you guys wanting to take on that task or embrace something that is similar to that? That's a question only you can answer. But Google is not going to tell you that. It's going to tell you based off of the numbers. These are the top expat destinations. Based off of what Google says, these are the top places for black people. But so many black people, we are not a monolith. Some of them are rich. Some of us are poor. Some of us like are places like I like pork. Plain example. You can't eat pork everywhere. There's Muslims countries that you have on your radar. Pork is off the radar. If you are queer, LGBTQIA, not everywhere is open to your life. So it's like you can make a grave decision just by not knowing where you're going. Now, these things are important to know because acceptance is something that we do our best to give us an illusion of in the United States. However, acceptance is what the culture accepts, not what you are and what you would want them to accept, to be honest with you. So, depending on what category you may fit into, women, LGBTQIA, black person, so many different ones. You need to be very intentful about these top destinations because remember, Google is not giving it based off of who you are nuanced down to you. It's giving it who everybody is that happen to leave, and here are the numbers that prove it. Um, Outside of Panama, you have Mexico. Mexico is definitely a place that I see a lot of people moving to, and there's a number of different places that you are moving to. Playa del Carmen, Merida, Mexico City. I'm starting to see more and more people in Oaxaca now. So depends on where you go. It's going to be different options. If you know a lot about Mexico in general, it's like Cancun and Riviera Maya is not like Cozumel, which is not like Los Cabos, which is different than Puerto Vallarta. These are all new ones. Mexico City, I think, is an hour behind Central Time. I didn't know what time zone they were in. It's also a little bit chilly there. These things are because everybody's going there, but if you were looking for all nice weather shorts and t-shirts all year long, it may not be the place. It also is a very densely populated place. So although the great things you heard about it in the food scene is awesome and top tier, the air quality might not be ideal. This is something that can factor in. I don't know what allergies you may have, but these have to factor in. Vice in regards to Playa del Carmen, any beach place that you go to, they're going to have a lot of rain. You're going to run into hurricane season. You're going to run into water pressure. So you have to be concerned about, is this a place, depending on where I'm going, do they advise me to flush toilet paper down? Um, Beach life. A lot of times it's two things. It's either party, 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 or nothing at all, and that's one city, or nothing at all and more nothing at all, and that's another B city. Depends on which one you go to, but both of those things seems like I would like to do something that's not like a party or going to the beach. Well, it's not really anything else to do because it's 90 degrees outside all day. Yes, it's on the top expat destination place, but what do you need? Is that what you want? Do you want to be a beach bum all your life? Do you want to only have pool parties to attend? Do you want to? Are you a somebody who's like, oh, I really want to move to Merida? I was living in Playa, but I keep hearing that it's really just for families. And somebody responded and said, it is just for families. Signed, a person that lives in Merida, and it's just like if you're looking for something to do in a lively crowd of people, from what I hear, Merida might not be the place if you're looking for a family environment to raise kids in and them have a normal routine lifestyle that they would possibly have, back in the United States just with the Mexican version. Merida may be on your radar. These things are all nuanced down to who you are. You might want that exactly, and then you also might want like, I want to raise my kids somewhere cool, but I don't want to be bored out of my mind. Which brings into Colombia because Colombia offers so many different things. We here represent Medellin, Cartagena, and shout out to my sis Tisha. She holds down Santa Marta. What we do is try to educate as many Black Americans as possible that are looking to move abroad on how to do so. We connect them with the resources in Medellin, Cartagena, or Santa Marta, giving them the ability to go to the top places that are actually in Colombia for expats to live initially. And then providing opportunities and resources for them to explore other places. There is Cali, Bucaramanga, Barranquilla, San Andres, Pereira. There are so many places that are in Colombia that you get to acknowledge that how beautiful of a country it is. Medellin is one of these spots that I tell people it's got that perfect hybrid of place where you can have a good family life. There are world class schools there. The weather is always temperate, so it's 70 to 80 degrees all year long. You've got straight flights from the United States as well. It's one of the most favorable currency exchanges on this side of the world. Right now, it's anywhere from 3,800 to 4,000 pesos to $1. The average Colombian uh, will make anywhere from $300 to $400. So that tells you, like, even with the nomad visa, it tells you how cheap things are. In order for you to qualify for the nomad visa in Medellin, or excuse me, in Colombia, you only need to prove that you make $1,000 a month. We know in America, $1,000 a month, $12,000 a year will afford you a nothing. Whereas in Colombia, this will be able to get you a place with furnishings, and you'd be able to eat for the whole and still have a life. So that is one of the most favorable places in Colombia. But all three of these places, excuse me, Colombia is one of the most favorable places as far as the currency exchange. But all of three of these places do differ completely. Cartagena is one of the most popular tourist places in Colombia. It is the most expensive city in Colombia. It is a beach town, but it is not a beach town. If you guys are from the Northeast or maybe even upwards of Lake Michigan, you know what the water looks like. Atlantic Ocean in Atlantic City looks like Lake Michigan water is probably like, man, that's the water in Cartagena. There's some volcanic ash mixes with the sulfur, and it looks like that. The water that you guys see in Cholon, the Rosario Islands, that is about an hour, depending on what kind of boat you're in, 40 minutes to an hour off the coast. So you are going going to be in a scenario where you have to set your temperature on that. And speaking of temperature, it's always 95 degrees there, 92, 95 all year long. So that means during the daytime, you may not be able to go outside and run your errands. You might have to do that after 6 p.m. And even though the currency is still 4,000 to 1, it is still the highest place to live in Colombia. Everything is just naturally cheaper. It's not a big city, and you have a bunch of people that's their only place to go into Colombia. One, two, you also have American cruise ships that are coming, and they're building up. I think it's the Four Seasons by the convention center. So yeah, Cartagena is definitely on people's radar, and we do our best to show you what Cartagena looks like if it is on your radar during our relocation tours that we have for physical people that are looking to get off the couch and get actually into it. Whereas Medellin is honestly, it's named the city of eternal spring for the right reasons. Reason is, as I mentioned, 70 to 80 degrees all year long. It is springtime. It is beautiful. It is mountainous. It is all green everywhere. You could get in the pool almost every day unless it's raining. It's the perfect hybrid for people that have families that they can have familial scenarios. So every Sunday they do ciclovia. They shut down numerous amounts of streets, and people are walking with their families, bike riding with their kids, walking their dogs, running, doing whatever it is that gives them outdoor activity. Speaking of outdoor activity, it's one of the it will help you reconnect with nature if you haven't done it in a long time, and the importance of that as a human is it is extreme. And you don't realize it until you get the opportunity to do it again. The expat community there is, I would say, a great community. There are so many things that you can get into. Literally, there is a WhatsApp group for everything. If you want to play basketball, if you like listen to EDM music, if you like, you want to go to eat with people you don't know, you want to go to museums, um, everything. It's a huge city. Think Medellin. I told people when they picture it, think New York if it was always 80 degrees and it was in Latin America. Or always 70 to 80 degrees in Latin America. It's the only city that has its own metro system. So they have a metro cable as well as a subway system. Ubers are really cheap to get around there, $2, $3 max, like $5, and that's going pretty far. Um, so much different nature. It's easy to get to just things that you can see. And I think that knowing what I know about the top places, I say it's probably one of the better places for people because you get a mixture of needing to learn Spanish and getting the opportunity to learn, getting the opportunity to be a part of another culture, seeing the African diaspora in a way that you aren't able to see it in some places. I would tell you these guys, Cartagena was one of the oldest slave ports. That is where the water comes from. That old city, the clock tower, all of these things. So there is a huge population of African Colombians there. They will walk up to you. Tu eres mi color. Tu eres mi color. You are my color. You are my color. Excited to see you and share camaraderie with you just because we have gone through the same struggle. They know exactly who you are, and it's an opportunity to get to know them when you guys go to Colombia. These places all have their own different nuances, and then Santa Marta is the last one we'll cover, but Santa Marta is a unique opportunity because you've got that beautiful water. It mixes that beach vibe, and then you've got Tayrona National Park, which brings in the holistic natural wellness vibes that you have. It's a lot cheaper than Cartagena as a beach town. So depends on where you go. These vibes, both depending on what country, depending on what part of the country you go to, depending on who's there and who's done the legwork, depending on what you need, and what you're willing to do before you get there, when you are there, and how you are operating once you're around other people that are there. That is what the top expat destination is. Once you go through that process of doing the research and learning a little bit about, okay, are there a Black indigenous population there? Are there a Black expat community that I can get some understanding of? What do they do? Is it just pool parties? Is it just people in a room and not saying anything? Are they lively and planning different events and people bringing their skills? Oh, I cook this and so and so cooks this, or we're coming to go volunteer here. These things make you feel alive when you move abroad and connected. Connected in a way where it is a reconnection to the diaspora, but connected in a way where we almost forgot what that feels like in the United States as humans, as people that long and crave for these things. This is important to make sure that we're wrapping our head around because a lot of us aren't given the time. We aren't given the time to cradle back into the things that is at the core of our souls. Community, really getting into an expat destination, not realizing that what you're asking is who all going to be there. When I get there, who's all going to be there? What do they do? What's going on? Is there something going on there? You're looking for a reprieve. You're looking for people that understand you. So when looking at these top expat destinations, don't be fooled by the 10 that Google give you or the 10 that AI will give you. Make sure that you're challenging yourself and asking, one, what kind of community member are you looking to be? The top expat destinations, and you want to know, is it racism there? Well, maybe we should go somewhere there's black people. So if you go to Poland, I think there might be a certain level of racism that's there that might not be other places. You guys have to use your noggin. Think about this. Don't just take Google research and Google images and say this sounds good, or it's a $40 bottle in the club. That sounds like a great place to reroute my life to because the bottle service here is amazing. The time zone won't matter because I'm going to have a great time no matter what. The time zone will matter. Don't lie to yourself in this. Do not let these people that y'all keep making viral lie to you because the videos are coming back out. You're seeing them now of people that have returned home. These people have returned home from moving abroad, and you're trying to figure out, well, what didn't they do? Well, they're not listening to anything that I've said. They just packed their bags and ran out thinking that that was going to be their salvation. Everything that America taught them was just good enough to make it in this world. And I tell you, it's not. Just like I tell folks in New York, that whole, if I can make it in New York, I can make it anywhere. No, you can't. You need some skills, you need some resources, you need some tips, you need some understanding. You need to be able to challenge yourself in ways that America has not forced you to do so. So hopefully tonight you have heard something that has forced you to challenge yourself. Yes, we can go and Google what are the top expat destinations, but that does nothing for you. That does something for the entire masses. That does something for the numbers. That's something for the government to say, look, we're the top expat destination in the world. But who are you? What are you looking to do? What are you willing to become? What are you looking to be a part of? What skills do you have? And I don't mean whatever your job is. That's not your skill. Your skill is what you are at your core and how you operate with other people. Because once again, it's not the first time. If you're new here, it's probably the first time. But I keep telling y'all, we are only on this world to be with each other. Community is at the core of why we get up every day. We get up every day to go to work, to be able to have the money to afford the things that we want, and then have the ability to have the time to spend with our loved ones. It all comes back down to really what you want to do, spending time with loved ones, friends, people of kindred spirit. This is waiting for you abroad. It does not seem like it's going to come back around waiting for you in the United States. So your only option, unfortunately, may be to look elsewhere. But when looking elsewhere, make certain that you are looking with intent that understands that I need to be something and I need this community to be something so that we can be a part of something together. I want you guys to be prepared wherever it is that you go, whether it was some of the destinations I talked about tonight or it's somewhere else. My job is just to give you the things that you put into your resource toolkit. That way that you can not say that you went and did not have any understanding. What we have done is soft launch. Our movetravelabroad.com website is available. So you guys can go there. The virtual conference, you guys are going to see more information on that. Working out some small things in the background, but the website is up. So you guys can go to moodtravelabroad.com. That's two O's in mood travelabroad.com. There, you're going to find so many positive things for you. We have relocation guides, city guides, best times to visit, temperatures, currency, cost, all of these things on Panama, South Africa, Mexico, and Colombia. We also have our virtual relocation conference coming up November 22nd. I want you guys to go ahead and lock in because it is the early bird price for that right now. We are covering obviously those locations as well as immigration visas, healthcare and medical tourism, coaching for expats, because believe it or not, your mental health does look a little different when you move abroad. And those coaching for expats covers both you as an adult, as well as should you be coming over here and bringing your children, how to get them adapted to a new culture, a new language. We also trying to do something with that extra money that you have in your pocket so that you are actually building a better life for yourself. Never mind just increasing the quality of your life. So we're bringing out on not only our wealth management experts, so how to build wealth abroad, but we will also be bringing on our student loan expert. She will be able to go over the repayment options for you because I know that that has been put back on your radar. Some people have been given notices that they have to start paying student loans again. What those look like, how you can take that extra money and put it towards your student loans so you can get rid of those things, continuously start living your best life, as well as coaching for parents. So, asking me coaching for parents, parenting with children, what parenting with children looks like abroad, school options, what do they do on a normal basis, how much things cost. These things are important to know. And what we do is bring all of these together on one beautiful Saturday, November 22nd. We will be there live. It'll be about 4.5 hours, maybe a little bit longer, of content. Oh, yeah. And shout out to Bianca. Bianca's going to be on there also because we get the burning question, what do I do for work? Now, we aren't remote work experts, so I can only bring you on to what it is that I know, and Bianca will be able to get you guys involved with digital marketing and affiliate marketing because there are people making tens of thousands of dollars in running digital products as well as marketing other people's products just because their community trusts them to give them the best things that the industry has to offer. We'll give you guys all of that and more November 22nd. You guys can get your tickets now. They are available. MoveTravelAbroad.com. As always, I appreciate y'all for tuning in, making sure that if you did share this with somebody that needs to see this, needs to hear this. If you are moving abroad, this is the opportunity to transform your life, but it only is going to work if you ask yourself the hard questions. Make sure that you guys are coming back here. We will be back here Tuesday. Tomorrow, we'll be back here at 5:30 Central Time, so that's 6:30 Eastern Time. We will be dropping up our new schedule because we will be going live Monday, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. Make certain that you guys are tuning in, subscribing, liking, and following, doing whatever it is you need to do to get a little notification once we go live so that you are here and making sure you are sharing that with somebody. I appreciate you guys for tuning in, jumping in the chat, jumping in the comments as always. If you want to hear something specific, topic, conversation, let us know. My DMs, my messages are open. You guys can go to moodtravelabroad.com. The new website is up. Tell me what you like. Tell me what you don't like. We'll get it fixed. We'll get it updated. We want to give you guys the resources that you need. We're building a community that is going to be one-stop shop. All of our stuff is going to be in one place so you can watch it, take the courses as you need to. Keep your eyes open for that. But yes, movetravelabroad.com. The new website is up. I'm excited. It's been a couple of months of working on this, but the things and the pieces are together, and I'm excited to see you guys manana with the Roots and Routes team. So y'all take it easy. As always, my name is RJ Mood, and I appreciate you. As the search says,